Well, somebody already told me to hurry up, and I just got on the air tonight. So let's see. It looks like I'm. Oh, oh no, what happened? Oh, there I am. So, hello, everyone. This is Paris Prokopis. Welcome to the Paris Prokopis Show, special Black Friday edition. Yay! Let's hear it for the audience. Yay! Yay. All right. Okay, that was cheesy, but hey, that's kind of fun. Fun. So I have some things to talk about tonight, and I'm wondering if I don't know. There's just some interesting things coming out of the. This is getting spicy. Hey Ed, how's it going, my friend? Okay, Charles Way. Yes, I hear news out of Pennsylvania. I'm going to talk a little bit about that tonight, and let's see what's happening here. And Terry, you're telling me to hurry up, but are you even going to come on? Let's see. It's not nice to tell a guy to hurry up. They should take their time always. But anyway, let's see. Pennsylvania legislature is drafting a joint resolution. I thought drugs were illegal in Pennsylvania. Get it? Joint resolution. Okay. Hey, it's Friday night. I'm punchy. I ate way too much yesterday, and I was in a tryptophan coma yesterday from all the turkey and everything. And we had one more person than the law allows. Shh, don't tell anyone. So, but we'll talk a little bit about Pennsylvania. We'll talk a little bit about Wisconsin. But one of the things I do want to talk about is the fact that Wisconsin may actually be the easiest state to work on election results, because there were so many different things that were almost disenfranchising because of the fact that they had those indefinitely confined. I believe there were over 100,000 of those for people that declared themselves. And typically there's less than like 10,000 of people who are, for whatever reason, they can't come out and vote. But the problem with the indefinitely confined, and that's one of those things that the Republicans missed the mark on, these people don't have to provide ID. We have voter ID, but what good is it if these people could just declare themselves indefinitely confined because of COVID and that type of thing? I'm going to cover a couple of quick facts here. Okay, first of all, in Pennsylvania, here's some of the things about Pennsylvania that I want to talk about. And then, Charles, I'll bring you on shortly. And Ed Delgado, send me a private message. So date stamps on mail-in ballots. When they mail out the ballot, then they mail it back in the self-addressed envelope back to the election commissioner or wherever the ballots go. And we're looking at the date stamp on there. Okay, check this out. Okay, on the date stamps on these ballots, there were over 20,000 ballots that were literally received the day they were mailed. So the date stamp on the envelope was literally the day they were mailed. So they were mailed on November 3rd, and they were date stamped that they were, on November 3rd. So that's 20,000 of those. And then let me pull this up. I'm getting a little bit of a distraction. I apologize, people. Okay. Yes, I'm going to definitely bring some churros on here, that type of thing. Okay, so, and then there were another 20,000 that were actually received at the Election Commission office that were date stamped the day after they were received. So they were received on the 3rd, but they were date stamped the 4th or something like that, or, whatever date. So clearly people are fudging with the date stamps. Then on top of that, over 8,000 people, 8,000 dead people that actually mailed in their ballots. They were dead. And I'm not talking somebody who may have mailed in their ballot and then croaked. But I'm talking people, and that's a tough angle. If somebody does have their, mail in their ballot and then they die, honestly, I think they should count. Those people intended to vote in the election, whatever. It's because it's not that many. You don't have 50,000 people suddenly dying the day after they vote. So it might account to maybe 100. But really, this is crazy stuff. And this is just one state, people, one state. And then we're going to go into, and it's not even covering what we're doing here in California and Wisconsin. I'm going to bring Charles Way on for a couple of moments here. He wants to talk about Pennsylvania. He's anxious to get on, so I'll get him on here for a short time here. But then on top of that, okay, there were several 100,000 mysterious ballots that came in at the last minute. I think it was almost 600,000 ballots. I don't remember the exact number, but it's several 100,000 ballots that came in. And then out of those, right about 580,000, just under 580,000 of those ballots were for Joe Biden. And a little over 3,000 of them were for Donald Trump. Donald Trump got less than 0.5%. That is what we call, my friend, that is what we call a statistical anomaly. Trump got 22% of the vote in Madison, the most liberal city in the entire country. Well, almost. Maybe San Francisco is the most liberal. But he got 22%. He even got a large percentage in Los Angeles and San Francisco, for crying out loud. But he only got 0.5% in this out of these 600,000 ballots that came in. Seriously, this is a problem. And I think, oh my gosh, I got everybody chiming in here. We're gonna have a fun go around here. We got Charles Way coming on. We've got the Carmel conservative himself, Ed Delgado, coming on, and then there's just little old me. Oh well, I'm just nobody. I'm just here for the Greek quota, but that's about it. I'm gonna keep them in the green room here and let them keep wondering when I'm gonna send them in here. They're making faces at me. Charles is waving his arms. Ed, put your pants back on. It's not that kind of show. Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to bring on Charles Way and Gatto.
So you're telling me it's a party tonight? We having a party tonight or what?
Yes, we are.
I like it.
Ed,
I approve.
You're not moving, Ed. You're standing still.
Gotta up that video quality, pal.
I was closing out Pornhub over here.
I always heard you were up and coming, but
oh god,
it's a Friday night show. So, real quick, Charles, you were chomping at the bit to get on tonight. Yeah. What are you thinking? Tell me. What are you hearing?
All kinds of stuff going on. Well, I'm just doing the typical browse of Twitter and everything, and like I said, it looks like Mastriano. He was the guy that held the hearing. Did you see the hearing with Giuliani and Jenna Ellis, and then the one that Trump called into with the legislature?
Oh, yes, I did.
Yeah, so the head guy, Mastriano, which Twitter actually banned his account also, after he posted the restream of their conference. So he made a new Twitter account, and I guess he was on Newsmax today and told Steve Bannon that he and the state assembly are filing a joint resolution to contest the election results. So that was one of the things that happened tonight. And then I was just looking at Mark Levin show's Twitter, and he just posted a filing that one of the Commonwealth judges, federal judges, is basically, I don't know, did they certify the result or the election results yet in PA? Either they're decertifying, or this judge ruled that they cannot certify anymore until an evidentiary hearing is held.
That's all, honestly, that's all our side is asking for.
Yeah.
We just want to see, there's a lot of accusations out there, and quite frankly, Trump has to put up or shut up.
Right.
And we, but we can't come around saying, when you have a sitting U.S. president accusing people of cheating, that's newsworthy. And now we have this whole media blackout, on anything that's anti-Biden. These are the same people. Now there's a list of Democrat senators that sent a letter to the head of YouTube saying you should remove any videos that are questioning the integrity of the voting machines and the integrity of the election. These are the same people who spent the last 4 years questioning the integrity of the election.
Right. Total rank hypocrisy. Right.
Ed, what say you? I sound like what's his name? Who's the guy who used to be O'Reilly? I saw the Bill O'Reilly.
Oh gosh.
What say you, Ed?
I'm enjoying popcorn. It's been great 2-3 weeks since this is all kind of kicked off. It's been ridiculous. It's really, I think it's kind of frustrating for people like us that are a bit in the know. We're watching several different lawsuits. They're being thrown out. Some are being, and it almost looks like they're trying to fast track this to the Supreme Court. And I can certainly understand that. But how plays are at work here, like what Charles had mentioned regarding Pennsylvania, you're going to hold up the certification. I mean, they certified, but yet we're holding it up. And then there was, I think, some other hearing. I think you alluded to that. The shenanigans down in Georgia. The thing that I find probably the most frustrating out of all of it, though, are the Democrats that are trying to just basically say, shut up, accept the results, unify, which basically means conform.
Comply.
You would think if you won, comply. Yeah. If you won, wouldn't you want a clean victory? Like, no question about it. Biden was more charismatic than Obama. And by the way, nobody buying that crap.
Obama. I mean, I don't care what you think of the guy. The guy was an energetic speaker and everything like that.
10 million more votes. 10 million more than Obama. That I don't know if I can believe that.
Yeah, I don't buy it.
I know people didn't like Trump. Yeah, I know people didn't like Trump, and I know there was a good amount of people who voted against Trump, not so much for Biden. But you can't sit here and honestly tell us like 10 million people. I'm not buying that. I mean, I don't even think there's that many never Trumpers.
No. Yeah.
No.
I agree with you.
Actually, the number of never Trumpers actually went down significantly. The ones who, because when you look at, you got some huge never Trumpers that have suddenly, there are some people from National Review that were supporting Trump. Glenn Beck, for crying out loud. You didn't get any more never Trump than he was in 2016.
I've been listening to him a lot lately, actually. Like his podcast.
Yeah. And he's, he was always considered fringe. I don't know if you guys saw where he got unhinged. I mean, he's like, we keep presenting evidence that not just about the election, but of other things throughout the years. And he said nothing ever happens, and he's just getting frustrated.
Yeah. Like what I said.
I just guess when it comes to Glenn Beck, one of the things I think that you have to look at is that he's stringing together a bunch of stuff. And I think you guys have probably seen that meme. You got Charlie from Always Sunny in Never Philadelphia trying to explain where's Pepe Lopez. You know, he's got all these, he's got this map and these diagram and string stuff. And that's kind of what I see Glenn Beck doing with his chalkboard and everything when he does that. But if you look at what he's doing, he's not just taking a snapshot in one time zone. He's going over several time zones. And what's fascinating about it right now is, and if you take a look into this, look at what he's talking about when he talks about the Great Reset. And when you hear something like that, it sounds very conspiratorial. You know, like when you hear things like Agenda 21, New World Order, and all that other stuff, until you look at the World Economic Forum and what they have to say about the Great Reset. The chalkboard is pretty freaking epic. Trying to watch my mouth here.
You caught yourself. I love it.
Barely.
There's almost always
But
an
there's
L-bomb when Bob, when Ed comes onto the show.
I'm getting better.
Love it.
Yeah.
Well, Ed, you've got that delay happening again.
I do. Let me dip off here so that way you guys can get that stream here going a little better.
You got that. Why don't you come back on, see if you can fix your internet.
Call up Charter.
All right, we'll see what we can do.
All right. So, all right. Oh man, I feel bad for him. We gotta get he's got to get his internet fixed. No, I don't know. He does without this sticks. Like you and I were on dead exact time. Like I say hi, you say
hi.
Okay, there you go. So, but Ed's like 10. He's got to be like 15, 20 seconds.
It's running at like 10 frames a second.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's like it
might be a hardware issue.
That's what she said.
Oh,
I don't know.
To you, maybe. I don't know. Anyways.
Nobody really believes Biden actually got 8 million votes. Oh, come on, Stephanie. You should. Everybody believes Biden got that many votes.
Man, I just everything as a whole, like I was saying, bring out the popcorn, but it's really put up or shut up time. But after hearing that press conference with the PA legislature and stuff, and when Trump called in, he basically like said what the goal is. I mean, it basically seems like that he's trying to get the legislatures to either delay the certification. So like what you and I have been talking about periodically, where it would throw it to the House. And when we say the House, we mean the state legislatures. And that seems to be like the only way, because I don't know what, other than Pennsylvania, what cases other than the Kraken lawsuit from Sidney Powell or whatever, like what actually is going to turn the election around other than, like I said, that legislature route.
Well, I think right now we need to see what's there. We need to see what's what. And I'm glad Pennsylvania had the public hearings, and I believe Arizona is going to have a public hearing.
Yeah, I think if I remember correctly.
Right now, sure. What is going on here?
It's going now. You're good. Are you good now?
Yep. Okay. Yeah, I'm pretty ssure Arizona is also going to be doing public hearings.
Arizona, I believe, is Monday. And then, if memory serves me right, I've seen disputes on this. Michigan's supposed to be December 1st.
Yep. And Nevada, something's going on. I think Jacqueline.
I've heard like contradicting statements on Michigan, where it's not on Michigan's site or anything like that, and they've kind of denied that they're doing anything. So I'm not sure if Michigan's for sure.
Yeah, well, Jacqueline said that Nevada accepted evidence of fraudulent ballots, and to my understanding, Trump's going to go after some other states too. This isn't.
Well, he has to. He has to go after 3 states.
Well, he's got to get 3 states, but he's got Virginia, Minnesota, and
I've heard nothing.
Actually, California, I'm hearing too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I have not heard anything about California or Virginia. What have you heard about those 2 states?
Well, Virginia may have been closer than we think. And California, I don't know if it would be enough to tip it. The numbers don't match. Because let's face it, November 3rd was an absolute disaster for the Democrats across the country. Even for Joe Biden, when you look at it, Joe Biden was underperforming Hillary Clinton in metropolitan areas all over the flipping
Except
country.
for swing states.
And when I'm talking, yeah, all except the swing states, except for Atlanta, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and Milwaukee, the states he needed, and I think Phoenix and Las Vegas as well. Those were all the cities. Everywhere else in the country, in the entire country, Biden was underperforming, including cities like San Francisco, cities like Houston. Houston's a very
Right.
liberal area. Tampa.
Mhm.
Trump won Tampa, for crying out loud.
That's a statement right there.
Yeah, and that's usually I don't know. It's just it just doesn't make sense. It baffles all the imagination. And I'm not saying it's impossible, but it is improbable.
Mm-hmm.
And then for areas like city of Milwaukee, there's certain wards in Milwaukee that got 97-98% for Biden.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry, 97-98% voter turnout.
Yeah.
We're saying 105%, but I think more votes came in. Go figure.
Yeah.
And but when even in you look, the most divisive time in the state of Wisconsin was the recall election of June of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
That was a historic election. Voter turnout in Madison was like 67%, 70% total.
Right.
The entire state was about 67%.
I mean, I see what you're saying. And I also took the time to myself too, to just look up, compare 2008 in Wisconsin, at least. I went Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan, compared all the metropolitan areas from 2008, Obama's election to this election, 2020. And it's amazing how miraculously Biden is up 20,000, 40,000, 60,000, even more in these metropolitan areas. It's like Obama was like the cream of the crop. You know, he was like, everyone was really excited to vote for him, you know, and he beat both McCain and Romney in landslides, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, and he even let's be real. In 2008, he got like 105% in Philadelphia. So clearly, there's a shenanigans going there.
Yeah.
But he won overwhelmingly across the country. So no question about it.
And it was the type of campaign. It was the type of campaign that Obama ran, and the campaign that Biden ran is not even a shell of what Obama ran in 2008.
Well, he didn't even campaign.
Exactly. Yeah.
He hit out. Yeah, I'm sorry. Ahead all day and night, then magically Biden wins. And there would have been some of the being ahead and then it closing closer as they started counting the mail-in ballots and stuff like that. But it was, and that's the whole thing. That's what brings into question. If none of these anomalies happen and Biden still won, yeah, shit happens. That's just the way it goes.
We accept it. Yeah.
Yeah. But okay. Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Atlanta, and other cities around the country, mysteriously it was around 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Remember, all of a sudden, no results were coming in.
Yeah.
Nothing. Everything was a standstill. Then we find out that everybody stopped counting. Well, everybody was sent home.
Yeah.
And there was this voter integrity.
Yeah.
Did you hear about the voter integrity project?
You'd have to like refresh me. I probably have. I've just been consuming so much stuff like over the past couple of weeks.
It's a Ed, great point. Biden ran a campaign. No, but the voter integrity project was a group of conservatives and liberals who got together to establish scenarios of what would happen if Trump lost. Is he going to get out of is he going to vacate the White House? Is he going to, he's going to hold up in the White House with his machine gun. Say hello to my little friend. Boom, boom, boom. It's
yeah. I think
they're a bunch of morons.
Yeah.
And what's the rush? But anyway, so the voter integrity project had a plan in place, and it had very specific things.
Are you talking like something like the Red Mirage type deal that I was seeing out of Axios? Similar to that?
Yeah, the Red Mirage, but also the fact that if it looks like Trump is running away with it, stop counting. And all I heard was put the plan in effect.
And why do you think Hillary told him not to concede under any circumstances?
Exactly. So
Yeah.
Trump's not conceding. All of a sudden, it's the most evil thing on the planet to do. Yet Hillary is on television saying, or whatever, Zoom or whatever, do not concede at any cost.
Under
So
any
Trump's
circumstance.
taking her advice. Thank you, Hillary. You've been very
Yeah.
helpful.
Right. Exactly. I mean, I say that this has like a 20% chance of, like I said, going through the state legislatures and it changing the result.
Oh, I love it. Premature inauguration syndrome. I love it. You
might not be wrong. You might not be wrong.
President Trump received more votes than any president in history. Yeah. And more than Biden. See, and that's the whole thing. President Trump even got more votes than Barack Obama did. And that's saying a lot.
At the very least, it says if he loses and, even through the fraud, he needs to be the number one candidate for 2024. And I think him saying he's going to go to Georgia, I mean, that pretty much tells you, he's in this for the long haul, that he's going to be relevant and he's going to be doing things for the midterms, and you can bet your butt he'll be doing his damnedest to get on the stage for 2024. Because if 2024 is not a COVID, there's no COVID scenario. Like if 2020 was no COVID was nothing to see here, it would have been a landslide for sure. Like nothing, no ifs, ands about it. Like he would have ran away with it. And I think the same thing will happen in 2024. If it's a normal political-esque campaign, it'll be easy money for him.
Oh yeah. And the Republican Party had better wise up.
They're going to try to collapse it back to its original Romney McCain-esque self, but it's going to fail miserably.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think what they'll do is unleash something huge. Ed's predicting there won't be a 2024 election if Biden wins. It depends on how he wins. If all this is done, and let's say we find all the fraudulent votes in Wisconsin and it yields 15,000 more votes for Donald Trump, well, it's not enough to win Wisconsin. But at least you did it, and people better damn well go to jail. I'm so sick of this. We've been talking about this for years. Voter fraud's been reported to city like the Milwaukee DA. He's never going to prosecute because the people that are always benefiting from the fraud are the Democrats.
Did you hear that one? It's a small situation, but there was a small case in Ozaukee County where there was a couple. I guess one of the persons died, but they both had requested absentee ballots. And right, like after she died, they didn't fill out their ballots yet, but the lover filled out both ballots and sent in the ballots. And then they found out, oh, this person died. And so now she's being prosecuted against now. This is in Ozaukee County. So I wonder if they would prosecute that. I mean, I feel like
Ozaukee might.
What would you say? So say someone did something like that and you were the prosecutor. What would you say a legit punishment should be for someone that does something like that? What would you say?
Well, I'm sorry. They need to be prosecuted federally, and it needs to be over a decade in prison. I think. Oh yeah, I think it has to be the Constitution. Everything. None of it means diddly if the vote doesn't matter. And regardless of what's happening, this is diluting confidence in the election system, and I think, and that's dangerous. When people aren't confident, they stop participating.
Right. I was going to say maybe a year or two in jail, and then you lose the right to vote for the next two elections.
Oh no, I think they should permanently lose the right to vote, and I think they should have. Oh, I think it should be harsh. I think because that's
a felony, huh?
Yeah, that's the fabric of our country. Yeah, Romney and Ryan are popping off at the mouth. Yeah, Ryan's saying, you got to concede, whatever. Paul Ryan wants so much to be relevant. If he runs for any statewide office, I'm going to I'll primary his ass. I don't care. I've done it before. I worked for somebody that primaried him. So, But yeah, he was a crackpot. But hey, live and learn. But I'm not a crackpot. I know what I'm doing.
That's
And
what they
I'm pretty
always
well known.
say. That's what they always
Ooh.
say until it gets found
And-
out.
And I've got a grinning redhead in the back room here. I'm going to have to add her on as well. And wait, that's not a grinning redhead. That's Ed drinking bourbon. So
It was a
is your
frozen frame on the
signal
bourbon.
working, Ed? And there's
I was just sitting here just trying to chill.
Oh my god.
and there's Stephanie. Hello, Stephanie. Welcome.
Hey.
Someone else is coming in.
We
Yeah,
all
you gotta
love the
speak up.
party.
You're really quiet, Stephanie. You got to bring
I
up your
am?
microphone. Yep.
Okay. Is that better?
I need you to be loud and proud.
Is that better?
We all like to
That's-
party.
Okay.
That's better.
Okay. Good. Got it.
Can you hear me now? What do you think about what's going on, Steph?
What do I think about what?
What's going on with all, what have
my
you been
gosh.
hearing? And you're kind of you're involved with the Republican Party up north. So what are you hearing up north?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously everything's going on in Madison and Milwaukee right now. But I actually feel like, I really do feel like this is going to come to I think some of the stuff's going to play out, and I think actually it's going to work out for Trump. I really do. I know that some people are, thinking, how can you be so confident? But it's just like, it's a gut feeling. And I think that, it's interesting that Trump appointed Amy Coney Barrett and got her in right before. And you know what? We were talking about this before the election. A lot of us were talking about this, how that would be likely very important that he do that because it could go to the Supreme Court. I mean, we were all talking about it, and all of a sudden we're like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, like, like, wait, what we already talked about could actually happen. So I think that, I just think there's a lot of things and I think Trump knew that he knew obviously that this could happen. I think he had a lot of things in place obviously he's up against a lot because there's so much trying to stop it. But I think he knew he was prepared in case they cheated on the level that they did. He knew they were going to cheat, but I think that they've been caught doing too much.
And that's what somebody said that where, we always say, Ed loves to say that he's playing 3D, 4D chess
Yeah.
and chess. But he's always several moves ahead of people. And almost like he said he had to lose in order to be able to win.
Yeah. Because
We
wouldn't
needed them.
we wouldn't know about all this fraud and think about how much he won, or excuse me, how many votes he got. Like with you look at how there's certain states that I have to like look at all the states, but where it looks like he lost votes when they were dumping votes. Like I'd like to know the real number that he actually won by, but he got 10 million more votes than they didn't expect him to get that many votes, I don't think. And so I think we talked about this earlier, but I think that they were scrambling to make up for all the votes that they didn't realize he was going to be getting that many votes. So, so I think they were sloppy in some ways, but they didn't think anybody was going to end up going after that, or they just assumed because in the past, nobody's ever really dealt with it, with the fraud.
I think they had to cheat so badly.
Yeah.
That was the point, because Trump did so much better than expected. They're saying he broke the algorithm they had in the system. So, Ed, I have to give Ed special permission
Yes,
because
sir.
he's behind. There you go. What are you? Feel free to chime in.
So I think Stephanie's right on point with this. I'm not going to sit here and tell you 100% I think that Trump's going to win when all is said and done. But I do have a strong gut feeling that that's kind of where it's going to go. My feel that is what happens afterwards. It's no matter what. You notice how the riot thing have settled down quite a bit. BLM, Antifa. By the way, I heard Antifa was raising some hell out on the West Coast over the weekend or holiday here. and destroying shops and stuff and yelling some crazy stuff. And of course, YouTube was out there doing un-Thanksgiving. So, you know, great organizations there. But I guess I'm more concerned with the violence that's going to happen, because it will certainly escalate should Trump end up ultimately being president once all is said and done. And I think I've mentioned this. I know several other people have mentioned this when it comes to Dominion. And there's a lot to be at. But if what we're seeing out there is to be believed, and all computers run off of some type of algorithm, you stop the voting in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden various places have 100,000, 200,000 plus ballot collections. That's majority. I can't get 20 people to agree where to go to dinner. And you want to tell me that there's going to be 100,000 people that are going to just, I'm voting for Biden, that's it? Nobody voted for Kanye. Okay, I'm totally buying that.
Hey, they're still counting, by the way. They're still
So
counting.
yeah, the algorithm was broken.
Yeah, where are they still counting? They're still counting in Arizona. They're still counting
Really?
in
California for sure.
California and stuff
County?
like that. Yeah.
Oh, did you see that?
Probably.
Apparently, the Milwaukee County finished and it net gained Biden 132 votes.
Really?
Oh,
Oh, geez.
who'd have thunk it?
Yeah, I had my experience going to Dane County, and that was
Where did they find the 40,000 votes? There
What
was somewhere that
40,000?
around here had 40,000 votes that were just recently discovered.
I didn't hear anything about
In
that.
Wisconsin?
I don't know that it was that many.
In Wisconsin.
Oh, 400. Are you thinking 400?
I got a
There was
No,
400 in Milwaukee.
40,000. There's 400 in Milwaukee. I saw another story. Yeah, I had
that's
my Black
400.
Friday shopping, so I didn't get a chance to like. Was it 400? Okay, I'm adding 2
400.
zeros. I wasn't drinking. That was a problem.
This, by the way, Ed
I was
Delgado
sober.
is on the payroll of Dominion Voting Systems.
Yeah,
They don't
I-
pay very well. I'm just letting you know.
I'm cautiously optimistic about everything. I mean,
Well, we're
Like I've been-
counting in Madison this weekend. There's Dane County. They
I know
asked
I was
for
there.
a lot of help there.
I was there the first and second day, and it was just, without using expletives, it was, in my opinion,
can
to me, it was a waste of time.
You can say shit show.
It was a shit show.
Can I?
It
add
was,
something?
it was a legit shit show. Sorry, I need
Go
that.
ahead.
I've heard Milwaukee. It was actually like that Dane County, based on people I've talked to that have helped in both places. Like, I've heard that Milwaukee was way worse, and that Dane County was more cooperative, and that you can see how far away they were in Milwaukee versus in Madison when they were watching the counting of the ballots. So they were allowed much closer.
Yeah, so
in
okay,
Madison.
they were cooperative in that sense where we were able. Well, okay, so there was one lady at the far end of the table. I was sitting with like 3 other observers. I mean, the lack of Biden observers actually kind of surprised me.
Interesting.
And the one Biden observer that I did see, he literally sat at the same table on his phone, didn't do anything, didn't even like watch any ballots. He was just on his
Well, he
phone.
doesn't need to worry about anything, probably.
Oh, yeah.
They have Biden observers. They're the people
Right.
that are actually counting the
No, so,
ballots.
so everyone's wearing their mask, right? They got their plexiglass and stuff up. I'm literally like up close to the plexiglass, and this there's masks.
Oh,
She's
wait!
wearing a
I
mask.
forgot. Everybody, put your mask on.
Oh, mine's. You mean
Sorry.
like this one right here?
Oh man, I'm triggered now. I need a safe space.
No, so we're both wearing our masks, and the plexiglass are dividing each other. And literally, I'm observing a ballot, and the lady says, "You need to step back. You're not 6 feet away from me."
What?
We're both wearing our masks. There's plexiglass, and I'm like, "No, you're gonna like remove me before this goes down because this is
Good.
BS. Are you
Good for
serious?"
you.
No, so I mean, and they were objecting to literally everything that we were objecting to. At first, we were told to object to Biden only votes. 10 minutes after that, our lawyer said we couldn't object to that anymore. By the end of the night, they basically were telling us that we couldn't even object to votes that didn't have witness signatures on them. So I kind of was just why am I even here? I mean,
Yeah.
But
They're
that's
not
the
letting
Election
us object
Commission
to any- they're
changing
not-
rules.
How are you
Well-
told what you?
go ahead.
how are you told what you can and cannot object to? Isn't that the point of an objection?
They were saying like we're not challenging this anymore. We're not challenging this anymore. I'm like, why? I mean, my thought process on it is, okay, you object to as many ballots as you possibly can. Hence why they were complaining that we were objecting to so many ballots. And I know it got some news coverage too that, oh, Dane County's going so slow because they're objecting to literally every single ballot. They're objecting to every ballot that was marked indefinitely confined, which we should be objecting to those.
Obviously. Sure.
Right. But again, they were just like, oh, well, we're not objecting to these anymore. We're not fighting these anymore because my only guess is because we're at the mercy of those board of canvassers, which it's a 2-to-1 Democrat swing. So,
Paris, correct me if I'm wrong, but they like
You're wrong.
Okay. Well, just hear me out first. So they're gonna. I mean, I'm not sure. I think that this is kind of known that they plan on taking us to court and challenging. Maybe I should. I mean, I know some inside information, but I hear that they're going to be challenging a certain amount of ballots, and
oh,
Well, that's actually public.
but they sound pretty confident behind the scenes that based on how the law is written, it's very clear that you need to have an application in order to you need to have applications to go with absentee ballots.
how
You
many
can't
of those
just send
were
the
there?
ballot,
There's tens of thousands of ballots that don't have applications.
100,000 or more.
And I heard they tried recreating those too, and they couldn't. And
Uh-oh.
at the end of the day, they couldn't end up.
Everybody's
recreating
shutting down
them.
again. Hang on.
You're shutting
There we
down.
go.
Everyone
Signal.
else is
Okay,
fine.
keep going.
You were
Well,
the
I'm
one
fine.
that
I get
you were
told
the
I'm
one-
fine all the time.
you were the one that was freezing frame. All three of us, even Ed, was doing okay.
I disappeared.
You know what's bad when I'm doing all
I'm
right.
back.
That's facts. That's facts.
I just pulled my Harry Potter.
That's cool. You want a cookie for that one?
It is. There's a killer lizard. Ah! Okay, no, sorry. Hey, it's Friday
It's
night.
like watching
I'm
the
feisty.
annoying orange all again.
Oh, dude, you're on fire.
Yeah. Anywho,
So anyway, what my thought is, I mean, I think the president knew that there was this many ballots that could be challenged, but then it's almost like he wanted to go through this process in order to kind of, well, I mean, they had to get gather some sort of evidence and gather like if they were being hindered in watching all this process. And also it's kind of buying time to get the legal stuff in order. I think it was just a combination of things and they probably knew they were going to be, especially, I mean, Milwaukee, but both counties that they were going to be objecting to a lot. So I think it's just going through the process so they can say, hey, like we have issues with these ballots and we were being, we tried to challenge them. And so I think, it was important to go through the process, but obviously we knew they were going to probably not allow people to object to much. So.
Oh, interesting. Here, the whatchamacallit, the state law, CB is saying that state law says that observers may be no closer than 3 feet and no farther than 8 feet. Well, even 8 feet is kind of very difficult to see at 8 feet.
6 feet is.
That's pushing it.
Yeah.
well, they better get their game on because there's only 17 days left until December 14th. So.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing I'm asking. And there's movements around the country for different states all we're asking, hold off on certification or seating electors. And that's where the state legislatures can get involved. They can just say, we're not going to seat electors until these court cases are taken care of. That's all we want. We want to see what the courts do. And then the courts are done. If the courts, tell Trump to pound sand, we're not going to like it, but
So
it is what it is.
I got a question for you, Paris. Maybe you know this. I'm just not sure. I've been reading, like I said, a bunch of stuff. But so say, for example, like a state like Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, where you've got competing branches of government. You've got the executive, which is Democratic, and then you've got the legislature, which is Republican, both of which hypothetically or theoretically could send up both their different slates of electors to the Electoral College. Is my understanding, this is what I'm remembering correct, that it's the presiding officer, therefore the vice president, Mike Pence, that decides the legitimate electors. Is that correct?
Say that again. Rephrase your question again.
Okay, so state governments, when they send their slate of electors up to the Electoral College, to the Joint Session of Congress, the legislature can send their own slate of electors up. The executive can also send their slate of electors up.
Nope.
Yeah, well, that's what they've done, or that's what, I mean, at least Pennsylvania has. I mean, and even
that's what they're
too. Apparently, Wisconsin. Apparently, Evers and Mandela Barnes are both are electors. Apparently,
they're both electors, but the state legislature, and it's very, very, very specific in the United States Constitution, the legislators select the electors.
Right. I'm gonna
now.
look this up real quick. Hold up.
Yeah, it's tradition, obviously, that they select the winner of the state.
Because
usually happens.
There is such a thing as competing
Yes.
slate of electors. That's what I'm.
You can have a competing slate of electors if the electors. I don't know how it happens, but it isn't. I don't think the government can nominate electors. I don't think the governor can. I think it has to be the legislature. Ed?
Yeah.
Or Steph?
I think
That's
the
what I keep
difference,
hearing
though,
is-
in
Oh, go ahead.
this is where
No, okay.
this is where I think the Pennsylvania case is coming in, because
So there's a slate that's certified by the governor and the other is by the legislature. That's would be dueling electors.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well,
this is where I think the
that's what's
Pennsylvania case comes into play, because
Go ahead. Sorry.
the state attorney general there, I believe, is the one who has the authority to do that. And that's why I think the state legislature is looking to reclaim that authority for them to do that. So I think that some of that's coming from.
Well, Pennsylvania has even bigger problems because they actually changed election law without the legislature, which is actually against the law.
That's a clear-cut case. I'm sending you the article from Reuters right now, Paris, if you wanted to look at that.
Yeah. Let me see. Dueling electors. I'm going to have to look it up how it is. Each state is different. Now, there are states that can have, what do they call it, where the electors actually select the wrong candidate? Like let's say you had a bunch of
faithless electors.
Yeah, faithless electors. There is no faithless elector law in all these states. In the swing states.
That might have just changed. I know I showed you one that said that they didn't, but that I've heard.
No, SCOTUS ruled on it. Basically, if you have a law in place, the electors cannot be faithless. But if you have no law, that was not addressed.
Well, I heard from Steve Noss when I was texting him a couple days ago that he said that we wouldn't be able to do that. I don't know if, like I said, the law changed or something. Like if the state legislature changed the law, I don't know.
But they they don't have to seat the electors, though.
Yeah, they don't have to certify.
Well, they have to. I think the Secretary of State certifies. And I guarantee, remember in 2016, the state of Wisconsin's Secretary of State, and they've been a Democrat for decades. The Secretary of State waited the full 10 days before certifying in 2016. In 2020, I guarantee that the election will be certified in 10 minutes.
So that's the person who has the sole authority to do
Okay,
that.
so I answered my own question here. So it says academics have sketched out several scenarios. Under one, Pence, as the president of the Senate, could throw out both sets of a state's electors. Another contemplates that the House of Representatives would end up choosing between Biden and Trump. There's even a scenario in which the Speaker of the House, currently Democrat Nancy Pelosi, who could become acting president.
Up to and until it would be March the 4th, I believe.
And at
that point, if there's no one selected, the sitting vice president becomes the president.
And it says the Supreme Court may be called upon to interpret the Electoral College Act to break any deadlock. And it says in 1876, dueling electors in 3 states were deadlocked until a deal was brokered days before Inauguration Day. The dispute was resolved after Republican Rutherford B. Hayes became president in exchange for withdrawing U.S. troops left over from the Civil War from southern states.
Well, and there was a time when the election did go to Congress. Because neither candidate got the 270, and I think that's Trump's ultimate hope.
I think it's his only hope, in my opinion.
It all depends if they throw out ballots. I don't see the Supreme Court doing that. What about you, Ed? What do you see? Do you see the Supreme Court throwing out millions of ballots?
I can't see. I can't see that, but it is 2020, so anything's possible at this particular point.
That's what I've been
That's an
saying.
excellent point.
That's what I've been saying, honestly.
Yeah, that's a really good point. Because
Like
expect
really,
the
at this
unexpected.
point, yeah, at this point, come December 1st, I'm really, really hoping for alien overlords. Just lizard people eating rats, whatever. I don't
Zombie.
care.
I got
Zombie
lizards right here.
I don't. Well, we got zombies this year. It's just they're all wearing masks, and I was really hoping for the Walking Dead type.
There you go.
See, this
lizard
lizard has
people
a
up
shorter
here.
tail. This lizard has a broken tail, so I have a reptile dysfunction.
Oh my god.
So there.
Oh,
Anyway.
That was
goodness.
bad.
Yeah, but I have a hard time to see, them disenfranchising millions of people. There's so much irregularity, voter fraud. There's mounds and mounds of evidence at this particular point. And anyone to say otherwise, it's like you're just blind to what is being presented before you. And I understand the mainstream media, the legacy media, they don't want to report on this because it blows their narrative. Is President-elect Biden? It's the office of the presidency, or President-elect, whatever he wants to call it. By the way, did you notice that? Go back to 2008. Obama was the first person to have the office of the president-elect.
Oh, yeah.
Did he really?
Biden had to take that and plagiarize that from Obama. Nothing original
Yeah.
from this man. Nothing.
He plagiarized
But-
again.
It's got to go to 270. It's
Yeah.
got to go to 270.
Well, we'll see what happens. It's gonna be very, very interesting. Now there is also the other option, and this is this was a law that was put into place in 2012. I'm not sure, but it's a law that basically gives the president the power to invoke the NDAA. And then combine that with his September 12th, 2018 executive order. Trump may designate anybody who coordinated in the election rigging as enemy combatants, allowing them to be extracted, detained, or even interrogated completely outside the normal court system. And then he could use this power to basically defeat the deep state permanently. And then
That would be awesome.
well, it's also dangerous though, because so he would then have to assume power and then get that law removed afterwards, because I don't want anyone else to ever use that again, because it's dangerous. It gives the president extraordinary powers. And what's the last time in history we had a leader with extraordinary powers or emergency powers? I mean, shit, we see it right now with Tony Evers.
Civil War. That's I think of.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking more like 1930s.
It almost reminds me
Europe.
of the movie Gladiator. It almost reminds me of the movie Gladiator. Do you remember when Marcus Aurelius was dying and he charged Maximus with one duty, and that was to give power back to the people? And now go into any dystopian movie, novel, whatever that you've read. How many people have started off with good intentions and just became a dictator? Like, that is scary as hell. But I've heard this through various circles. I've heard this line of thinking with the 2018 executive order, the NDAA, the Sedition Act. I even heard that Powell was now registered as a military lawyer for a tribunal.
Dude,
I've read that.
you're cutting out, dude.
I'm
gonna have to.
I can joke about 2020 being a joke.
maybe I'm cutting out.
But yeah, you are a little choppy there, man. What's going on?
Choppy. Hey, I told you to wear your mask, Ed. Now you're not wearing a mask, and now my internet's affected.
I'm sorry. You got internet Rona.
You need internet Viagra. You need to get it up more.
But some of this stuff is scary as hell.
I'm not gonna
Some of
lie,
this stuff is scary as hell when
I'm
you
not
think
gonna lie,
about it, though.
Some of this stuff is conspiratorial.
Well,
I mean,
it is, but there are those powers. But
It's
nobody's
all
ever
conspiracy until it happens. Yeah.
no one's ever exercised it, and I don't know if I like the idea of exercising it.
like I'm gonna be frank with you guys. All the Sidney Powell stuff, release the Kraken stuff. Until I see this crap, I'm not gonna believe any shred of it.
Yeah.
Like that's just me.
Well,
I know there's
there
others that
are-
are like,
Well, if you read
Yeah,
the
there are
Georgia
some-
lawsuit, I mean, the Georgia lawsuit is claiming some pretty extraordinary things, and I think if you're going to court with that, I mean, they'd have to have something.
you'd think.
And
Yeah, I
she
mean,
has
I
a
would-
Michigan one too. She has one in Michigan where she
Oh, yeah.
actually names the governor of Michigan.
Yeah, and she names the governor of Georgia.
Including
In
getting a payoff
a
for Dominion voting
Republican.
systems.
And the Secretary of State too. I
And the
think.
Secretary of State, yeah, and
Yeah.
that's a huge accusation.
Well, one of the
Um,
guys that she's got
Yeah.
involved with this, his
Again,
name
are
is
you-
Pat-
Are you
His
gonna
name
prove
is
this in
Patrick
17
Bur-
days though? Like 17 days? This like if this is like such this conspiratorial stuff, like is this really gonna be proven in 17 days?
you never know. It could be enough to just
2020.
basically, yeah, it could be enough for and it's really not 17 days. Everybody keeps looking at that electoral college. It doesn't matter. We've got till January 20th in reality, and then
that's true.
ultimately March 4th. But it's in, look at the 12th Amendment in the Constitution. March 4th is specifically stated in there. But in reality, that constitutionally, even if the electoral college votes, the Supreme Court could still feasibly throw it out. Is it likely? No, but it's feasible. Now, regarding this, one of the main people that she's got involved, these forensic people. I mean, not just forensic. This guy's a computer forensic guy. His name is Patrick Byrne. He's the guy
Yeah.
that founded Overstock.com.
I watched him.
Yeah. And he's like saying it's like, I don't need the money. I'm not doing this for the money. I mean, he's just out there. He's putting his reputation on the line. And you got Sidney Powell. I mean, whether like her or not, she's putting her reputation on the line. This is huge. This isn't about selling books or anything because she won't sell a damn book if they think she's a nut. So
Right. And if she doesn't
And then
follow
there's-
through with this stuff, yeah, I mean,
she has to follow through. And I think
Yeah.
there's a reason they separated out.
But then they brought her back into the fold though.
yeah,
They
but
separated and they brought her back
she's-
in.
yeah, but she's in the fold, but she's not officially part of the
Right.
the team. She never was.
Right.
Even though, obviously Trump referred to her, oh, she's one of my great lawyers, but she's, I guess
Yeah.
they're flanking, and maybe they don't know what she has, or maybe that's the,
the strategy.
the decoy.
Yeah,
Are they going for the kill here?
Well,
I think there's a couple
there
different
is that,
strategies.
but one side is looking.
Like Trump
There is
has.
that, but I think one side is looking at it from a criminal aspect. The other side is looking at it from the administrative aspect.
Yeah.
So, depending on how far down the rabbit hole you want to go, Sidney Powell, some heavy, heavy stuff out here that is just straight up criminal. Now, this begs the question, and I'm kind of in line with Chris, right? Got to make sure I get the name right.
Charles.
Charles.
Charles, I'm sorry.
Oh
It
no,
started
wait,
with
but he
his-
said he was going to
started
be
with his-
frank with us.
Whatever. You can call me whatever. I don't
But
care.
I'm kind of but I am more in line with Charles because Sidney Powell's laying all this stuff out, and until I start seeing some court dockets, and I don't mean just affidavits. I mean, we're seeing tons of those.
Oh yeah.
What I want to see is trial dates. I want to see, breaking news from what was going on in court today, what was thrown out there. Because at this point, it's like, okay, release the Kraken. Sounds really cute. Some
Yeah.
people say it's a DoD server. I don't know. It could be that. It actually could be the Kraken somewhere out in the Pacific. Don't know.
Calamari.
But-
who knows?
My question is, right, why would somebody with such a distinguished, lengthy legal career put herself on the line like that toward the end of her career? Something's going on. Rudy Giuliani, no different. Something's going on. There is more to this than what we are all seeing.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's ultimately and that's the attorney. I don't know what her name is. She's actually kind of cute. But the
Jenna
one that,
Ellis?
yeah, Jenna
Yes.
Ellis. Oh, she knows what I'm talking about. She said straight out, we're not going to give you what we have. We're not going to give what we have to the media. We're going to deal with this in court where it's supposed to be dealt with. So, and we'll see. And will it be enough for the Supreme Court to say, I mean, we put constitutionalists on the court for a reason. That doesn't mean
Oh, it appears.
Oh,
okay, there we go. No, but
Where'd
I
Paris
they-
go?
yeah, I'm back. They put her on the they put these justices on the court for a reason, but they're not there just to hold water for President Trump. He's got to have the goods, and that's the whole thing. But I'm telling you that what they're saying is enough to say, hey, we've really got to look at this.
No, just
regardless.
remember when President Trump tweeted about his campaign was surveilled and everybody mocked him? Like, and this is
Yes.
before we knew about that stuff.
Mhm.
We're like, what? Like, and people are like, oh, he's such a conspiracy theorist. Like, he was actually being surveilled, like his campaign was being, and so we obviously know now that was true. He usually says stuff that sounds crazy sometimes, but then you find out later it was true. So maybe there's something, he sounds
Sure.
Well.
very confident. He keeps saying, we won, we're going to prove it. I mean, I don't know. He can be braggadocious, but he tends to say stuff that sounds kind of out there, but then a lot of times he ends up being valid or
He's
proven right,
he's-
whatever,
Yeah, he's been proven right
Vindicated.
time and again.
He's
Yeah,
not.
he's-
He's not governing in this last session like somebody who's about to office too. You notice that? Because he's firing people, he's putting people in place. He
Yep.
is not on leave in office. If you look at how he is governing, he's issued
And-
one pardon,
yeah.
Michael Flynn.
Yeah, and that was right. It was time for him to do that, but there was long past time for him to do that. But there is a school of thought out there that some people are saying that NBC News, I think, reported this, that is he going to be can he be trusted with the nation's secrets after he leaves office? Or then you got other people saying, will he have a shadow government? And quite
Oh my
honestly,
gosh.
remember
You mean
a
like
lot of
the
people were
Obama
saying Obama has a shadow government too. That's what people
Projection.
are saying.
Mhm.
Well, they always
I'm
put
agreeing
people
with
what they're
that.
guilty of. So
Biden is Obama's shadow government now.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's okay. Well, and why hasn't Kamala left her seat?
I think that's just common practice. You don't really leave your seat until the new term is about to start or something. I think
but
Maybe.
it's a done deal, isn't it?
nothing's a done
I
deal.
know I'm teasing.
But that's the whole thing. That's what it comes
Well,
down to. In the end, what are the Democrats afraid of? They're the only ones standing in the way of a logical count. When you think about it, okay, you're saying that Joe Biden won unequivocally, and okay, fine. Then what do you have to lose? This is just going to prove it and solidify it, and make people like me say, "Yeah, he won." Okay, you win some, you lose some. Although this is much more dangerous than that, but still, in the end, if our guy doesn't win, he doesn't win. But right now, you've got a lot of people that are seriously doubting the integrity of the election. And
Well,
whether
yeah, they
Well, I
know
think
that they're not. They know it's not. Well, I shouldn't say everybody knows it's not. Some people are willingly like ignoring all of the fraud, but just I think a lot of people just know
There's no
something's
fraud.
off, and so it would do well for the entire country if we verify things one way or the other what really happened. And
Okay,
so
you
it
don't
should-
understand. There's no fraud. Did you get the memo? You have to comply.
Oh,
Yes,
thank
you
you.
have to comply. You must comply. I am Paris. We are Paris. I will assimilate you. This is it.
Oh my goodness.
So, and then of course there's this. You know, during the Middle Ages, it celebrated the end of the plague with wine and orgies. Anyone know if they planned anything with this when once COVID-19 ends? Come on.
Oh
Sorry.
my.
It's yeah. Well, at least you didn't say "Oh God," so
Poor
that's all right.
Stephanie, I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. So I was the same. Yeah. Yeah, we have more testosterone than estrogen in the room today. I don't know.
That's
Sorry.
true.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
I
other
didn't
time it
notice.
was
just kidding.
the other day it was me and Jackie and Stephanie. So or what should I
Shout
call
out
you
there.
today? Sally? No,
I prefer
Stacy.
Stephanie,
Stacy. That's what
actually. You Stacy. Yeah, you called me Stacy the first time. So
What can I say? We like to party.
on a Friday night, you know. Do we any of us have social lives? What's the deal?
not really. Not really. Not since the coronavirus.
Mm-mm-mm.
Yeah.
I don't know
Hilario's
what a
saying
social life is.
this makes the Russian elections look fair. It really does. And that's the whole point. We're looking like, and I agree with Trump on that. We're looking like a third world country. And regardless if it rises to the level of overturning the election, there are some serious issues. There are issues with how we're handling, well, the fact that we're even doing mail-in voting, but that's a whole nother
Yeah.
thing. We're opening up our computer system to the potential of hacking.
Well, the
We're-
Democrats warned. They didn't. There were Democrats who warned about the security of the
Yes.
Dominion, or just several different voting machines and systems. They were concerned last
Yes.
year. Why are they not caring now? I mean,
Well, even Jimmy Carter a few years ago talked about mail-in voting.
Yeah.
His commission, this was like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, but and everybody knows Jimmy Carter was and he was a nice guy, whatever, but he was a horrible president. But you just look at it. But remember a few years ago,
Yeah, peanut for
and this might be before your time, Charles, but when George Bush won re-election in 2004, what was the big question about Ohio? All the Democrats.
Chirp.
Now
might
I'm
be-
losing it.
You're losing it? There were concerns about the electronic voting machines in Ohio. And the Democrats are raising the concerns that Bush really didn't win it. And do any of you guys watch the show Scandal?
I've heard of it, but I haven't watched it.
No.
Oh, God. It's a good show. It actually is. It's kind of fun. It ended stupidly, but it was a good show. But the whole premise of it, this woman was like chief of staff, or she was close. She was having an affair with the president, who actually won election because of a thumb drive in a voting machine
For real?
in some small town. And I think it was Ohio.
Oh my god!
I don't remember, but that was the whole premise of it. And that's what they were saying George Bush did in 2004 to win re-election.
Really? I don't remember that. That's interesting. Huh?
Yeah. But there was a lot of arguments. And I think it was Dominion voting back then too. And
I
maybe
feel like
because
I've heard it goes back kind of far where there could have been issues, but now it's just. I mean, with mail-in voting, it just opened the door even more to even
What opens
more
up- it opens even more questions as to whether or not the 2012 election was legitimate.
Yep.
Now I know the 2008 election was legitimate. Yeah, was there cheating? I'm sure there was, but Obama won.
was no way.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt. Yeah, he won.
I would even argue that in 2012, Obama won. Just for the fact that he stabilized the economy. Now, a lot of conservatives and a lot of Republicans do not want to give Obama credit for anything. I will be the first person to tell you that what Obama did was he stopped the bleeding. He made the economy tolerable. And he
Well, you
did what
kept
he
that-
called the managed decline. And Right. What was GDP? Something like 2 to 3%. And he was, when Trump was running, he was saying, you'll never get above 4. You need a magic wand. So of course there's Trump, abracadabra, making stuff happen. And
but that became Obama's
it's
economy.
interesting.
Yeah.
Right. Because he has to take credit for it because of what he did. And what's fascinating to me was Marco Rubio came out, I believe it was within the last day or two, and he talked about Biden's potential cabinet picks. And he said, wow, you picked a lot of polite, knowledgeable people to manage America's decline.
Yeah.
And I thought that was fascinating because, you want to talk about a third term of Obama. There you go. And part of me wants to kind of get into this whole Great Reset, and I'm going to mention it probably many times in the upcoming weeks because it's a real deal. Like I said, just check out the World Economic Forum. And if you take a look at what China has been throwing out here to Biden, what their expectations of his presidency should be, they're scared of us all. This is why we have to fight tooth and nail now. There is waiting for 2022. 2024. If we don't get a hold of this now, there is 24. Sorry, Charles. I know you were going to say something.
No,
sir.
wasn't it? That's fine. Wasn't it Trudeau or was it Macron that actually said something about the Great Reset? Actually said now is the time to get through stuff that we weren't able to get through before. Wasn't it Trudeau? Wasn't it Trudeau?
Yep.
And Trudeau.
Yeah, it was Trudeau.
Just think if this nation falls into chaos like a civil war or something like that, we're going to be ripe for our adversaries to be emboldened, including Trudeau. You never know; he might invade us.
Is he smart enough to?
I don't know.
Is he smart?
Well, he's taking away everybody's AR-15s, and that's why I'm so glad we have a Second Amendment.
14s.
No, that Biden has AR-14s.
AR-14. That's a new one.
Carolina
Not
says,
Biden,
reset my ass. I love it. Hi, Carolina. Yeah, I love it. Getting a phone call. Be back soon. Oh, Shannon. Okay, I'm disappointed. Your attention should be focused entirely on the show. I'm okay. You and I, we got to have some words. So, we could. So, anyway, did you guys have a good Thanksgiving? Let's talk about something because you know what? All this stuff we can make our heads spin. Let's talk about some cool stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys break any laws by having more than 5 people?
I didn't do jack, man.
We just had a family over that we just had a small gathering because my husband's family is quite large, and we don't it's usually really crowded in our house. And I actually
you said size didn't matter.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Never mind. So we just had a family over, and normally we have 25 people over, and it's crowded and there's kids running everywhere. So it was kind of nice actually this year. And I personally didn't really care if we had, a larger group, but we had COVID several weeks ago right before the election. So our families had it. So we've already been through that. So, but just everybody else in the family kind of let's just be low key. So it was nice to just be kind of, what are you doing?
Putting a mask on you.
No, we didn't wear masks in the house. So it was actually kind of nice. We still were able to visit with some friends, but it was
how many?
We had a family of a couple with their daughter, and that was it. So it was kind of, but we had all the usual.
Well, you were over the 5. You were over the 5. You're a criminal.
I was. What was the suggestion? What was
5?
Was it really 5 in our state?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, nobody told on me, so I think I'm good.
Oh, I like Hilario's attitude about this. He said having 10 people is still a good size for a small militia. Yeah.
I slept most of the day. So.
You slept? That's not fun.
Well, Well, no, and then my parents forgot to call me for apparently we're having a 2:00 Zoom call with the family members that were supposed to come
man.
up for. I'm not even crapping on you. Like my 55-year-old aunt that lives in Georgia is more deathly afraid of this thing than my 83-year-old grandmother. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my.
Well, a lot
Now-
of people are listening to the fear that the media pushes. So
Of course. Now, how about you, Ed? What did you do?
Kept it low key, you know. I mean, we always low key, you know. It's just usually me, my wife, my son, and my wife's aunt. You know, we just keep it really low key and stuff. That's just kind of how we are. It's way too much food, way too much. Just 4 people, you know. So we're complying for that. But I ain't complying for a damn thing else. And you know,
complain.
come Christmas, all bets are off. You know, it's like everybody come on down, enjoy it. I just think it's absolutely ridiculous how many people are living in fear, how many people are just running around, just worried about, you know, the bad Rona is going to come and get you. You know, I've been one of the first people at the beginning of this to tell you this is real. Mistake about it. If you have pre-existing health conditions, be safe about what you do. Be smart, but
Sure.
don't live in fear, because when you decide that you're going to live in fear, you're already dead. You just don't know it. Kind of like Paris's feet. What happened there,
I
brother?
can't hear Ed.
Can you hear me?
Freeze
can you
frame though. You're freeze frame.
freeze frame.
I hear you now.
I look
I
damn
hear
good.
you now.
Okay, I
It's
gotta
a
find
really
out.
sad set of affairs if Ed is outperforming you there, Paris.
Sounds all garbled.
Uh,
Now, it is.
I'm a-
It is a good still shot, though.
Yeah, it uses
1-0.
Still
I'm
sounds
back.
bad.
Am I back?
No,
Wait,
you're
what's
not.
going on here?
No.
Oh, no, hold on.
You
I'm
notice
gonna
how
fix
Paris
my
has
camera.
like that still shot? He's got that still shot with the electricity around him and stuff. It's like really like Barney Stinson-ish. It's a really good picture.
I'm shocking. I'm gonna take a screenshot here. I gotta do that just because I look sassy. Oh, yeah, there we go. All right, I'll do that. And now let's see if I can get my camera back on, guys. Let's see.
Why we can't all have nice things.
Technical difficulties. Now I guess.
Oh, that's better.
There we go.
Whoa.
That sounded
Whoa.
funny before.
There we go. Now I look.
Saucy.
See, I still look dreamy though, don't I?
Saucy.
We're seeing beyond the green screen.
Beyond. We're
I
going
don't know if I wanna-
deep into the hole.
I don't know if I want to see anything beyond the green screen, to be honest with you.
Wasn't that a name of a movie once? Behind the green screen? Oh no, never mind.
I don't know. Were you a co-star in that one?
I was up and coming, I guess. But let's see. Hilario, Carolina. What is Carolina? Now, Carolina says
God.
she had. Wait, where's your quote, Carolina? Oh, yeah. She said, Carolina says her feast was outstanding. She has excellent aim and can cook. That's marriage material. I love it. You know, Carolina, I'm single, you know.
Oh my God.
So, in
Yikes.
case you were wondering,
Yikes.
how you doing? Okay.
And he has an OnlyFans page.
I have a what? An OnlyFans page?
This just took a 90-degree turn real quick.
Yeah, it is. It did.
Did we run
So-
out of material to talk about?
It'll be Paris.
No, I just don't want to talk about it anymore because
Well,
what?
you know-
It's kind of depressing because we're in a waiting game.
Well, we can only
This could
speculate
go in a
so
number
much.
of directions.
Yeah, you can only speculate so much before you drive yourself crazy. So
Yeah, we're speculating. We're also, sad that Biden probably won. We're also sad that, if
didn't
Trump
win.
does pull this off, it's not one way or another. There's going to be a lot of people that are pissed, no matter how proved it is or not. We got a Supreme Court that's in a possible position to become an activist court, the conservatives I'm speaking of, and that's
Sure.
not good either. I mean, so there's a lot of, we're in really uncharted, dangerous territory right now, and that's not good.
You know
You
what?
said that.
I put my
But
Christmas
why doesn't
tree
that
up,
excite
and so
you?
that was great. Tonight I put my Christmas tree up, and so that was really uplifting. And so I had Christmas music playing. We did a gingerbread house earlier. So there's good things you can focus on right now.
I'm sorry. It's a holiday tree. Didn't you get the memo?
No.
Okay.
Well, Obama's not president right now.
No, you
so
can't say holiday. You can't say holiday.
Why not?
You know that, right?
Oh my gosh, where does it stop?
Holiday, holy
Up
day,
right now.
Oh, holy day.
holy day.
Okay. Oh boy. Holy day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Is that where that comes from? Interesting. Well, I'm gonna call it whatever I
Mhm.
want. So we're saying Merry Christmas around here. So that's a whole nother subject we could talk about. Political
let's
correct.
Yeah, we
not,
could say
please.
Mary Ramahana Kwansmas. So
How do you
now
spell
there
that?
is. Yeah, I don't want to offend anybody, So,
Oh my god.
but there's no, Festivus for the rest of us. That's December 18th, right? Yeah. Okay. Now, did any of you go? Did you guys go to the rally? You guys did. You didn't come down from Green Bay. You didn't come down, Ed, for the rally that we
I
had
could, 'cause I
down.
had the coronavirus.
Were you there, Charles?
For
You were out of town.
Which one?
The Mayfair rally.
No, that was working.
We had I would venture to say it was close to a couple thousand people, so it was a lot of people. All four corners were all filled. Nobody broke any laws. Nobody broke any windows. We were literally right next to a Best Buy, and nobody ransacked Best Buy, which I'm kind of bummed because I really want the new PlayStation.
Nobody got a
But
PS5.
it just
Yeah.
and
Oh,
It
you're
stopped
talking
again.
about the
There we go.
rally,
Um,
the Stop the Steal rally.
yeah, my network is going crazy. The David Clark rally.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I watched your video and it was so electric. I loved it. It was just so it just
Mhm.
really got me stirred up. It was just
Well,
man, I felt so
yeah.
patriotic watching it.
Well, it was really electric for me because I got tased, but that was no.
Okay.
But then the week before, the week before, there was a rally at Serb Hall, and it ended up ending abruptly because City of Milwaukee had their health inspector, and we, no people weren't sitting down and wearing masks because everybody was standing up or whatever, and
Then dude fell.
and it was one of those situations where suddenly they're saying man was attacked. Someone grabbed he was holding a microphone while David Clark was talking. He grabbed the other microphone and said, "Hey, I'm going to have to shut this down because the health inspector is here." And then somebody grabbed the microphone from his hand because they didn't know who he was. They grabbed the microphone from his hand. Also, the guy who was talking grabbed that guy by the neck, and he ended up losing his footing, and he grabbed one of the tables that was next to him. But these plastic tables, so it moved, and he fell to the ground. He was a big guy. So nobody was attacked, but you can see how, I have video of it. I have actual video of it. And I'm looking at this. It's like, he wasn't attacked. The dude fell on his own. He lost his footing, and it just, you get to see how the news is just manufactured, and it's,
Right.
there's
I was going to share it on Facebook, but somebody sent something to me about describing what gaslighting is. And it explains where the term gaslighting comes from, and it talks about this husband who's basically this wife is in an abusive relationship, and he slowly changes little things around her and slowly tries to convince her that she's the one she's going crazy, because no, that's not
Yep.
the case. But he's slowly, and then there's something about just turning down the gas lights or something, but over time, the reality that you're seeing there, this guy is the husband's claiming, no, that's not true. What you actually, it's what's in front of you and what you're seeing is not true. You're just crazy, and so they're trying to convince,
Yep.
the media is trying to convince millions of people that what they're seeing with their own eyes is not true, or and they do, of course, manipulate some things and try to spin it, but they are literally claiming, we were constantly being gaslighted by the media. And so,
Yes.
a lot of people are just, I think there are plenty of people who think about how many people voted for Trump, even though they were pushing this narrative that, you know, all the negative stuff that he's up against, and think about how many people voted for him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 70 million people at least.
Yeah. Well, 70, is it 73 now? Or?
Yeah, 73, 74 million. But of course,
Yeah.
the only one who's getting any more votes is Biden.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Is it, how many weeks is it after the election and there's states still counting? How is that even possible?
It's stupid. It's just
2020.
Where'd you go?
It's
Paris?
2020.
Eventually it all comes to a head.
Trump's
Oh my
retweeting the crap out of that Doug Mastriano guy.
Ah,
Why? What?
Yeah.
He
What
just
did I miss?
tweeted.
Yep.
He just tweeted 12 minutes ago.
What do you
about
say?
So he retweeted something that. Can you go to your Twitter?
Go to my Twitter.
Yeah, it's Trump's most recent tweet. He retweeted something that Senator Doug Mastriano, which is a picture of their election results by 8 p.m. Says this was posted on our Department of State dashboard, but it's since been deleted. Then Trump retweeted it and said, the 1,126,940 votes were created out of thin air. I won Pennsylvania by a lot, perhaps more than anyone will ever know. The Pennsylvania votes were rigged. All other swing states also. The world is watching. This was
Wow.
12 minutes ago.
Wow.
mhm.
I'm gonna I'm gonna see if I can share this. And let's go to.
That's the scary thing is how much of this do you think we're not going to know ever?
Oh yeah. And what other states are involved that we're not even talking about? Yeah,
Well, you think about they wanted-
and New Mexico's another
Mhm.
one.
They wanted Biden to get as many votes nationally, just for the sake of the popular vote. I think just even in
popular vote?
case, yeah, just in case for some reason Biden didn't win, they wanted to push that narrative again that, oh, but he got the popular vote. And so I wouldn't doubt that they're just doing other things in other states, but they really had to go after the swing states for sure. But I'm sure it's everywhere. So
Well, look what they
There
did
we
with
go.
Texas. You know, just the
Yeah.
mainstream media alone, they were calling that as a swing state almost on the onset, and it was like, you got to be kidding me. Now I understand COVID moved a lot of people around. That's a factor that a lot of people just haven't really taken into account when you take a look at your vote totals and everything, and same day registrations and everything else like that. But in terms of a voter fraud or voter irregularity, you know, you got individuals that were registering while they were, let's say they moved to Texas before, they might have voted absentee from California and then voted same day in their new state of Texas,
right.
or vice versa, or however else, you know, you want to make your combination. But people have moved out of the cities because of riots and because of looting and because of bad taxes. I mean, California, there's such an exodus over there, negative growth. So that alone tells you that there's going to be some irregularity, but irregularity doesn't necessarily mean that there's a huge issue. You couple a lot of irregularity on top of voter fraud, now we have smoke. My smoke detector, I changed out some batteries today. That thing goes off, I change batteries, or I find a source of where the fire is at. This is what we need to be doing, finding where the fire is.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I lost a couple of my people.
Oh.
Oh, there we go. Now everybody's back. I
Right.
lost everybody for a second. That was just weird. Fire, not smoke. Yeah. Oh,
Yep.
This is the big issue here. The 17% in Trump in Wisconsin, and Trump only lost by 1%. It's the polling. The polling was being manipulated. It's the
Like a suppression poll.
Mm-hmm.
and I wonder if they were in on it. And the media, I've never seen the media in my lifetime. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the media being this. I mean, we used to always jokingly call CNN the Clinton News Network back when Bill Clinton was
It was
president.
nowhere near as bad. I actually used to think they were like somewhat like center left, kind of a little more center. I mean, they got a little bit worse over time, but I never saw them. I mean, they're filled with rage. Like they're so filled with, they hate. Like I've never seen them despise a president so much.
And I mean, he calls them
Cuomo
out.
Yep.
So I understand why they hate him because he calls them out, you know. But it's so far gone. They're so far gone. Like, I don't even know how they come back from where.
But even now, post election, all the things that we're talking about tonight, all the stuff that Charles has shared, or Ed shared, you shared, I shared, all of it is being blocked by the dominant media. I've never seen them not cover both sides of a story. Like, okay, I'm sorry, regardless of what you may think of Trump, but Trump accusing the other side of cheating, that's newsworthy.
Did you just see what the label that was slapped on Trump's thing? It said multiple sources have called the election differently. It was a different.
Of course, they're going to put that, or this, you know, this claim
Now it's
election fraud is
differently?
being disputed.
That's
It's
what
always-
it. That's what it said. It said multiple sources have called this election differently. That's literally what the label said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pravda is alive and
They're
well.
changing
And
it.
that's
Did you see that we flipped another California district seat too?
Really?
Yeah.
So now
Yes,
Five.
sir.
California 21.
14.
No,
That
that's
makes-
12. That's 12 pickups.
no 5 in California.
No, it's
Oh, yeah.
14. 5 in California, 14 overall is what I saw earlier.
14
the
overall?
difference that there's a potential that the
Yeah.
difference in Democrats and Republicans in the House of Representatives will literally be the squad.
Yeah, 3. It's possible.
That is
By the way,
Now
leading-
look at the squad to increase.
It
The
has
numbers for the
increased.
squad will be from 4.
Do you think they learned a
Yes,
lesson?
it has increased.
No,
The squad has increased from 4
lost-
to what? Charles, what is it? 6 or 7?
I think it's 7.
They've lost
Yep.
how many seats?
Yep.
And they're like because they were too socialist sounding.
Uh-huh.
Put
but
it.
do
Put
you
this
think they're gonna
into
double down?
perspective. Put this into perspective. We won a seat in Miami,
Yeah.
a representative seat in Miami.
Oh, think about this go. Even though look at Biden's cabinet picks. What's missing from his cabinet picks?
Mhm.
Elizabeth Warren.
Yep. There's no socialists, no Bernie Sanders, no nothing. These guys are liberals, make no mistake about it, but they aren't the progressive socialists. And the AOCs of the world are pissed. And I could actually see there's still some, I dare say the word moderate, but still more left of center Democrats. If we work really hard, we could possibly pick up 4, maybe 5, and suddenly get control of the House of Representatives.
Possible.
In 22. What?
No, like now. No, I'm talking like now. Get people to switch parties. It's happened
Oh,
before. The
yeah.
most I've ever seen switch was 4.
Right.
4 Democrats became Republicans.
Let
because
me
they just-
present. Let me present something to you. Let me present the idea that in 2 years' time, regardless of who wins this particular presidential election, let me present to you that the enemy of my enemy is my friend, unlikely bedfellows.
Mhm.
Let me present to you the idea that perhaps that the globalists, the Joe Bidens of the world, and assume that, Joe Biden takes office, he gets all his globalist pals, ships out all kinds of businesses overseas, and America goes into this managed decline. What would you say if I told you that perhaps in the future we might be looking at potentially a anti-light incorporation into the conservative movement? Not so violent, not so militant. What if I told you that we could have more liberals into the conservative movement? And I say liberals, I mean the classical liberal. Yeah, they may be liberal socially, pro-abortion. They may be liberal in the sense of
the Kennedy Democrats.
Take your topic, but the Kennedy Democrats. Because if you look at what Trump has done in the last 4 years, he expanded. He has truly lived up the motto of the Republican Party being the big tent.
Mhm.
Make no mistake about it. Trump is not a conservative. He might govern like a conservative in certain fiscal senses, but he certainly spends like a drunk sailor. But I think that was intentional. I think he was doing that to break the back of the Federal Reserve, because, you know, you take a look at the fact that we work on fiat money. There's nothing backing it at this point.
Yeah,
We
but
need
the
to
reality
have sound
is
money.
Yeah, the reality is the Federal Reserve's
Mhm.
not going anywhere. I mean, it just is like the same thing. Let's have a constitutional convention. Not going to happen. We need to focus our efforts on something that's likely to happen. And I don't see us ever getting rid of the Fed. I just don't. I disagree with it, but I don't
I
think
get
it'll
what
happen.
you're saying. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But look back historically, and you'll find that this is the third Federal Reserve Bank that we've had in our nation's history. I know. But look back in our history. This is the third Federal Reserve. So what would happen if something changed there? I'm just saying, if you look years, I think the political landscape is going to be vastly different, because if you look at it today versus 2016, you wouldn't have seen this walk away movement, this Blexit movement, this Lexit movement. You wouldn't have seen a lot of the things that we see today
The
with
Republicans
people
are on
over
the
here
fence.
on the conservative side of things.
Yeah, but we're on the fence of something great if we don't screw it up. Because even if Trump
Yes.
loses this thing ultimately,
Yeah.
you got so many so many Republicans now vying to get back into the tent. And I'm talking the Paul Ryans of the world, the Scott Walker. Scott Walker is trying to reach out to frickin' Charlie Sykes of all people. Are you kidding me?
They're going
He-
to fail
he made-
miserably.
Yeah, he made a statement somewhere. I don't know where it was, but he's like trying to get all cozy with Charlie Sykes to welcome him back. Let's get our Republicans back. Screw that. We need to continue on the path that Trump started. Trumpism did not lose, even if Trump lost. Trumpism itself did not lose, because you know what? We're almost in the lead in the House of Representatives, and we're still likely to keep the Senate because of President Trump and all his work around the country. That got people motivated to get out and vote,
I
even
am
though
nervous.
people cheated.
I am nervous for the Senate map in 2022. I think Pennsylvania and Wisconsin are ripe for the taking for the Democrats. Those are the only two
Depends.
seats I see us losing.
Agree.
And I don't
Depending
think
on who our candidate is.
Ron Johnson to figure out what the hell he's doing. I don't think there's
He's not running again.
Mm-hmm.
I heard he might, because of he's heading the chair that's doing the Hunter Biden investigations.
Yeah, but he's not raising any money or anything, so I don't know.
Well, let's look at the FEC. I'll look at see if he's
Makes the money.
not gonna lie, I've looked at the FEC to see if
You guys
Trump
realize
made a
this?
2024 bid.
You guys realize this is a really exciting time for us, though.
Yeah.
For us political junkies,
I mean,
yeah.
if you think,
Yeah. For us nerds.
well, it is in that sense, but if you think about this, we all know where we're at. So I served in the Marine Corps. So as a Marine Corps vet, one of the things that they taught us is, you hear a lot of the one-liners and the exploits of certain Marines and stuff. And I remember Chesty Puller, he's like, he was all excited because in one particular battle, they were surrounded. And it's like, sir, we're surrounded. And like, good. Well, now we know where the enemy's at.
Mm-hmm.
And if you think about it in this context, assume Joe Biden wins. Assume Joe Biden takes presidency. Assume all the worst forward. We know where the enemy is at. So how do we regroup? How do we get our proverbial shit together? Well, all politics is local. You start your school boards, you start with your county seats, you start with all this other stuff. I will tell you that in doing my part, I just run a little podcast. Nothing special. There's nothing special about what I do other than this overly expensive microphone that I have here. That's it. And I will tell you, throughout all of this turmoil, my listenership has gone up exponentially. And it's interesting because when you're in these periods of distress, your allies start looking for other allies, especially because on the conservative side of things, we're very individual. We don't want to be collectivists. We don't want to be told what to do, but we do want to know that we're not alone. And if you think about this, exactly, Paris, we want to know that we're not alone here. So in doing so, this can motivate other people to just like, you know what, in the same vein as Trump, maybe not in the same as Trump, maybe we need to take the fight to them. And that is something that never done before. We've always been reactionary. We're taking the fight to the left.
And that's what we need to do. And we need to use some of their tactics
in real
against
Carolina.
them. And people seem to forget that Saul Alinsky's Rules for Radicals is actually apolitical. It's nonpartisan.
Yes, sir.
Those rules can work for the Republicans as well. And we need to fight on that level. And President Trump fights on that level. And that's the whole point. We don't have, he doesn't play by the same rules of the game, and it freaked people out. Oh my God, he's not being presidential. Oh my gosh, he's just, that tie clashes with the suit. It's terrible, but it's just, he doesn't, it's like he campaigned for 8 months or something like that. He wins the nomination, he wins the presidency, he gets inaugurated, and then the first thing out of their mouth is, oh my God, I can't believe he's tweeting. He's been doing it the whole time. And I think that's the thing we've got to recognize. What I said before, Trumpism is alive. And that's where we need to make sure we keep the party out of the hands of the elitists in the Republican Party. Mm-hmm. And that's where we make the coalitions that Ed and Charles were talking about, where we need to get the so-called Reagan Democrats, the LGBTQ community. It's the blue dog. Agree. Yeah, we may not agree on all the issues. It's like, there's many levels, varying degrees to the abortion issue. You've got the ones that are, abortion on demand. You got the other ones who, never have abortions, and you got everything in between. The ones that'll chain themselves to the doors, and then you got the ones that'll try to nurture and work with these ladies that are going through this or whatever, good, bad, or indifferent. I'm not taking a stand on it, but I'm just saying. So we've got those people. We've got the people who believe that we need to end the Fed. You got people that think we should have no income tax at all. And we got some people that think we need a progressive income tax and everything in between. We can still find common ground without sacrificing our principles.
Well, that's what Trump has done. He's found a way to unite a lot of people who don't think exactly alike, but they're for freedom. Think about how the left has attacked freedom of speech. And, that one guy who he was at the chicken burn. What's that guy's name now? The guy that spoke, the long hair and Prescott.
No.
Hilario.
His last name.
Hilario will know. Yeah.
His last name is Prescott.
Scott Prescott.
Scott Prescott.
Not Prescott.
Pressler.
Scott
Pressler.
Thank you.
Pressler.
The two. Scott Pressler.
He
said he was he the guy that was at the nightclub, the gay nightclub, and he was like, it was like the Second Amendment that kind of got him going on this journey. And it's like there's these different freedoms in the Constitution that are under attack by the left, and it's brought people in the fold that are like, wait a second, like if they're a classical liberal, they're like, wait a second, these are the things I'm actually I don't agree with how the left is responding that way. So you take some of these issues that are just like even just common sense issues, and you find a way to bring people in that maybe they don't see everything the same way, but just freedom, the Constitution,
Yeah, people need to realize that the very popular activists don't speak for them. Just like the Black community, they're kind of souring on the Jesse Jacksons of the world and Al Sharptons of the world. It's like, when all you have is your leadership telling you you're no good and you'll never amount to anything because the man's holding you down, as opposed to, hey, we need to do well in spite of this or whatever. Make yourself better, always do better.
Right.
and there's a big difference. Like you got the Asian community, which seems to excel pretty well. They actually make more money than white people. And then, statistically speaking, when you look at the Census Bureau and stuff like that. But why? Because their leadership doesn't talk down to them and tell them you're nothing but shit without the help from the government.
Yep.
Instead of
They
working
don't have
hard to build them.
leadership though.
Yep. Well, and that's part of
Not
it.
only do they not have leadership, but did you notice that they've been taken off as far as persons of color?
Oh yeah, because they're being successful. And let's be honest. You know, they use the term African American for the Black community, but real Africans who have immigrated here from Africa recently, they're doing better. They're doing great because they have an immigrant standpoint where I came here to get the American dream. I'm going to work my ass off to get it.
Yeah, immigrants like do a lot better than a lot of people who are born here.
Are you, Charles? Are you a
That's
millennial?
true.
I think so.
Officially, how old are you?
25.
25. Yeah, I think you're in the tail end of the millennial because my daughter's 22 and she's just out of it. But you know, I'm seeing a shift there as well. I think there's an awakening by younger people too.
Gen Z.
Huge.
Gen Z is the next conservative wave. I'm fairly certain.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, it's kind of, you know, what's interesting is I think like because I'm on the very tail end of millennial. So on the high end, I should say. So
Oh, shush.
I'm admitting I'm kind of, you know, older. But
I'm still older than you.
that's true. But I think
I can make you feel young, but anyway, continue.
But what I was going to say is that I think the real younger generation, like, so it's like the next up and coming that are like in high school and college right now, like there are like a growing number of them that are becoming more pro-life, that are becoming more pro-freedom, you know, and they're starting to like, and I've always thought we should be able to sell freedom as cool. Like, you know, aren't young people supposed to be into freedom, you know? And so I think there's an opportunity there. And I think I am seeing somewhat of a shift. And so I think that there's hope for, you know, the even younger, more young generation versus like millennials. And so
I do hope that generation starts to see that the First Amendment is quite literally on life support right now.
Yeah.
They can't take away freedom of speech, but they can add to what's considered hate speech, and suddenly you can't talk.
Right. And even on our social media platforms, you're shut down. You're either flagged, or you might end up getting flagged too much, where they put you in Facebook jail, or, you know. And these are the platforms that are, you know, most used by. Yeah. I mean, it's hard to speak your mind on some of these platforms where you're being.
You can't because you're ticking off. And quite frankly, that's got to be addressed. And I actually think that'll end up being bipartisan because there's actually, oddly enough, Elizabeth Warren of all people recognizes that it's a problem. It's a problem.
Interesting.
What's that?
I said one would hope.
One would hope.
I would hope so.
And I'm not holding my breath on that.
Neither am I.
I'm not holding my breath on that.
Well, we've got to address it.
Here's why.
The big thing, we hit them in the pocketbook by the mass exodus is happening right now with people going to Parler and to MeWe and all the other things.
Look, but one thing, think about
that's
this.
a mistake.
But think about
that's a mistake.
I think we don't want to leave all these. I mean, we have to be able to speak where it's not just an echo chamber. But I would say this: think about Trump and how he has made it popular to not be politically correct. Think about it. He speaks he says whatever, and he got 10 million more votes. I mean, people are tired of political correctness and being shut down for, oh, did I say that wrong? Oh, like even like people on the other side who say something, they're being like shamed because they said something that wasn't wrong, but it's portrayed as like, oh, you said that's offensive because you said something, you know, like pop culture is, you know, I mean, in comedians can no longer be comedians and you know,
Well, it's obvious I'm not leaving Facebook or anything like that. I'm going to stay on it, but I think
Sure.
it is affecting their revenue models when people aren't as active on these systems and stuff like that.
Right.
It is affecting the revenue, and I think I actually think Zuckerberg's he's kind of caught on to it, so it's not happening as much anymore. Yeah, they are still putting the warnings about, well, some people disagree with this or whatever, but Twitter's gone all out. Like, well, Washington Post, we don't agree with your article. Washington Post, you can't, or New York Post, you can't post anything
Post,
or whatever. But,
Washington
we got
Compost.
yeah, the compost.
Yep.
Because they're full of shit.
See,
So
I'm in agreement with Charles, and I'm not holding my breath on anything when it comes to Section 230, because I'm going to give Trump and the Trump administration a pass in the first 2 years. You had Paul Ryan jamming things up. And honestly, for anybody listening that's in other states, here in the state of Wisconsin, on the behalf of the people of Wisconsin, I apologize. I am sorry that we let that man stay in office this long.
not my
Our
fault.
bad.
Just imagine if we would have had
Now,
Kevin McCarthy as
That's
the
my fault because
speaker. Just imagine.
yeah.
Well, I never
But
voted
the
for him,
thing
but I
was,
did
though, in the
campaign
last
against
2
him.
years, Republicans had an opportunity to do something about Section 230. Trump personally could have done something about Section 230. They did nothing in just the last 4 years. So, do I think Section 230 needs to be done away with? No. It needs to be reformed. If you're going to act as a publisher, then you need to be held accountable accordingly. And that's what these big tech organizations are. When it comes to Twitter, it is a liberal cesspool. It is a shit sty of the internet. And I only stay on Twitter only so I can get the stories that are out there.
That's why
I
I
don't
use
even
it.
argue with people online. It's not worth it.
Well, I don't argue on it.
You know, my fear is that when everyone wants to migrate to Parler and MeWe, and I got accounts there, in full disclosure, you should have it as a backup command and control, but not abandon the digital battlefield. This is where we take the fight to them. And if they end up shadow banning you, double down on your content.
Yep.
If they end up banning your account,
They can't
get
shadow ban
another
everybody.
one.
They
Do
can't
like what
shadow
you're
ban
doing,
anybody.
Paris. Keep it.
Whoop.
So I'm in full agreement.
All right, guys. Well, I think Charles and Ed and Steph, we're at a 2-hour show. Cool. That'll
yet.
make Hilario happy.
Laura will be happy.
Are people
Yeah,
still
because
watching?
he likes long shows, but I appreciate you guys joining me tonight. There's a lot going on, and
Thank you.
it's going to be an adventure the next, especially next week. That's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
be huge shifts when we're, and then there's the big question: will the Supreme Court actually hear these cases? I mean, they could just say, "Nah, we're not going to hear it."
Something big has to happen next week for
Yeah.
me to have any kind of confidence that something's
But
going to happen.
Even like the state of Wisconsin, they're going to challenge all those ballots and stuff like that. What will Brian? We're going to find out. First and foremost, is Brian Hagedorn a constitutional conservative or is he not?
We're gonna find
Didn't
out.
we know that by now?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
the John Roberts man.
Yeah,
Can't trust him.
But and there's weird, like I said, I kind of agree with his logic on one of his rulings, and that was the ruling where the extension of the mask mandate. I thought that the case that the Republican Party brought was stupid. It needed to be one of us bringing that case, not the legislature. The legislature has no remedy. It's us who are getting our rights affected. But nonetheless, I get that. But so I can understand. I didn't agree with it entirely, but I can understand his logic. It was sound. You could see. But on these other cases, like we don't have enough time to see whether or not the Green Party should be on the ballot. They've already started sending ballots out. You know how many ballots they actually sent out, Mr. Hagedorn? 33. Yeah, we can send 33 more ballots out. Come on. with the right.
Well, we shouldn't just put the blame on him. We should put the blame on the election commission on that one. If we want to blame not getting the green party in the ballot.
Mhm.
Yeah, ultimately. But then again, the election commission tried to change the rules with the recount, and I don't know how Spindell did it.
And Nas wants to make some changes up at the election commission. I've talked to him.
Please.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. They need to be rounded up with the tribunal and put them in jail for 10 years for interfering with the election as well.
I honestly think Mark Belling's column that he put out when he called applicants in the state of Wisconsin, I think that might have lit a fire under Spindell's ass. I mean, that column was scathing.
Yeah, I actually had I'm privy to an email list. I'm on an email list that he's on. He sent us that information like the day after the election. He sent us his stand on stuff, and then he was writing in his column, and he went. But I was like, and Bob Donnell, oh my God, he's like, well, he's been ripping into the Republicans for the past year.
And you said this the last show.
Yep.
Yeah, he's been tearing them a new one.
I just don't. I just don't understand their logic, and I don't understand why no one gives Mark Belling any credit. Like every county GOP like that I've done things with, like Waukesha, for example. Don't mean to name names, but every time I mention Mark Belling, like, oh my God, you listen to him, like he's such a weird crackpot. Like no one gives a shred of a shit of what Mark Belling has to say, which is mind blowing to me because I think he says some pretty smart stuff. He can be pretty crazy and screamy all the times on his radio shows, but he knows what he's talking about.
He read my article on the air, so he knows his shit.
So obviously you like him.
No, and there's time, but I think the Republican Party, what's happening is you're having the establishment rank and file, and there was
and that's why we're in Madison right now. That's why our headquarters is in Madison.
Yeah,
should be in Washington County right now.
We in Washington, and the Democrats have.
Belling must be doing something right.
Yeah. Well, and the thing about the Democrats is they never stop. They win an election, they don't stop.
They're working on Waukesha.
They've been working for a long time, and they never stop. They never stop. But we stop. We win an election. Okay, we're done. We lose an election. We spend our time licking our wounds for months. It's like, no, we got to stay active. We got to be engaging.
We're fighting. I think we're fighting. I mean, I know a lot of people who are not giving up and they're fighting really hard right now. And Trump has brought that into the party. And I think, I think that's a real lasting change in the grassroots. I mean, I think it needs to go all the way up,
Okay. Well, we're fighting. Now we have to get those representing us to fight for us as well.
Exactly.
So the people that are in there now that have a long track record of not fighting for us, they need to be primaried and they need to get kicked out pronto.
Right. I mean, exactly, because we're fighting. Well, and I even told somebody, maybe I told you, Paris, but I go, if I work my butt off all year long, and this is a volunteer position as a county chair, and if I'm doing that and I'm like putting myself out there, and then you guys are not fighting for us, and you're not like gonna stand up for Trump, what am I doing here? Like, why am I involved in the party if you're not gonna, like, as representatives, stand with us and fight for us and for our president and all those things. So I said, I don't want to, so they have to, they're gonna face a lot of backlash from a lot of grassroots if they don't get on board.
Oh yeah.
People are ticked, people are ticked.
Paris, if they ever have,
there's a lot of.
Go ahead. Sorry, Ed, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Charles. You go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say if and when they do this oversight hearing or whatever, what's this whole thing that we heard? There was like a news article about Voss initiating the oversight committee or something. I've heard nothing else other than the fact that he initiated this oversight committee. Is that anything? Or is he just pandering right now?
My fear is that he's pandering. We need a change in Republican leadership in this state assembly. Nass is really good, but he's not the leader. I don't know who the new leader is, and obviously, I think Kapiga's involved.
Majority whip, I think.
Yeah, and all these rallies are here, and not a single frickin' elected official shows up to these.
Nah, shows up
support
to every
Trump rallies?
single one.
Yeah, but NASA's there, and then not a single, but most of them. And then who was that? Chris Kappinga was at the one at Serb Hall a week ago or so, 2 weeks ago. That's it. We should see overwhelmingly legislative support from all these things. What are they afraid of? And that's and Robin Voss, and I know him. He's a nice guy, whatever. And it
Doesn't respond to us anymore, though, right?
Nope. He's got a gorgeous wife, and so
He used to. He
all
used
these-
to respond to me, but now he doesn't anymore because I lit a fire up under his ass on Facebook one day.
Well,
on
and I
Messenger.
think I'm writing an article. I'm about ready. I need to see the legislature. I'm not asking them to not appoint Democrat electors or faithless electors. That's not what I'm asking. What I'm asking them, wait until the legal challenges are done, and then you can, you'll see the appropriate electors at that point. To do this, I think all these states certifying their election when there's all this stuff in court is not only counterproductive. I think it's actually it's negligent. Yeah, well, it's fraud. No, it's
No,
negligent.
Wrong.
Wrong. Oh, I thought you said fraud. Yeah,
No.
it's just negligent. That they're doing a disservice to their people. They say, hey, there's nothing. They're not saying Joe Biden didn't win. They're saying, hey,
Find out.
let's see what it's in court right now. So we can't certify until it's done in court. Which Arizona, their governor said
Right.
straight out, we are not certifying until
Good for him.
it's all done. So he needs. So Trump would need to get one of the big ones, and two of the small ones to pull this off.
Yeah.
Or
Doable.
Good. the
I'm
big ones
hoping
too.
for Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Nevada.
I think for sure he'll get Georgia. There's a lot of stuff there
Yeah.
that once they do the comparing of signatures and stuff like that, that's
But
the big thing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another point I was going to make.
All you
One
have
of
to
the
do is
things
let
that
one
one of the things that Sidney Powell was talking about too in her stuff, the plan or the hope is to get a forensic analysis. They want to see how many ballots were filled out with the same ink.
Oh, that's interesting.
They want to get that granular
Wow.
and find out this is the same pen that signed these 50,000 ballots or something.
And there's something out there that can find out if it's the same pen, huh?
Pretty much.
Really? That's
yes.
fascinating. Huh.
Well, interesting story here. There was a story that was out there, mainstream media, and apparently out in Pennsylvania, there's allegations from one of the mob bosses out there. They were paid $10 per vote per ballot to go ahead and siphon these things through, and they were doing something like $3,000 an hour in forging ballots. Now, there's not been any follow-up to that particular story, but I remember talking about it a couple weeks ago. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see what would happen if they do that, but will it be in? That is the bigger question.
You know who already
And I want to
says
go back
she
real
has a
quick
bunch
to
of ballots?
something. Who's that? Oh,
Stacey
Miss Powell.
Abrams.
yeah.
No, Stacey
No.
Abrams they are already,
Really?
she's already got ballots that are being
800,000.
800 for the Senate election. So she's already ballot harvesting already.
What the heck?
Wow.
Mhm. And she's bragging about it. Dumb broad.
Oh my gosh.
But
And the
Wow.
governor,
she is the governor, you know.
And
Yeah.
they have a trifecta Republican government. Are they going to do anything about it?
well, because their governor
Eric
is
Harris and I
useless.
agree that there's something going on with the governor, most likely, that is, and the Secretary of State, that they're going to
Mhm.
get caught in something. And I think they're on something.
Yeah,
And I think
I
we're
don't-
going to find out.
Oh,
Yeah,
but I
we-
voted for Trump and I donated to his campaign. That's what Ross Raffensperger said.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm
Oh,
putting it down for the night. We keep going these
think about it,
tangents.
though?
Aw.
Thanks for having us, Paris.
If you think
Yeah.
about it, though, there's a lot of people on the right that they're afraid of, Bill mentioned this here in the chat, that they're afraid of the lefty retaliation. And then you got a lot of people on the right, they just want to be liked by everybody. They just want to be loved. They don't want to be, they're not haters.
I'm
It's
already
like,
liked by everybody.
You don't
I care.
realize that these people are not going to like you no matter what. Well, it's because you have good hair.
Sassy hair.
I got a good hat.
It's that Greek privilege.
Hey. Oh, hey.
All right.
All right, guys.
All right, guys. Awesome. Have an awesome rest of the night, and we'll have a great weekend. And tomorrow
Yeah.
apparently there's a protest at Mayfair Mall, so it'll be. I'm curious to see how many hundreds of people they have, but we'll see.
Bring your guns.
Yeah, no, I'm not going there.
Another
But,
shooting?
It's a leftist protest.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
For
'Cause
what?
they're- Oh, because of the cop and all that crap out here.
Mensa?
Yeah, they're still.
He's resigning, isn't he?
Yeah, he quit, but
Oh, no,
he's.
I thought he said he was going to under like certain
Yeah.
conditions if they dropped the charges or something.
They did. They
They
dropped the
did?
charges. Yeah, oh yeah. So he's gonna sue. He's gonna sue. He's gonna get a big payday. So,
Yeah.
tangent. All right, guys. I will talk to you guys later. Have
Will
an
you,
awesome
though?
night.
Will you though?
Good night, guys.
Yeah, I will.
Right.
All right. Have an awesome one. Be good. If not, be yourselves. All right. Bye.
Yay, last one.
Oh, yes.
Bye.
All right. See you later. All right. So there we go. So everybody, thank you everybody for joining us. And that was Charles and Stephanie and Ed. And it was fun. Thank you everybody for your comments and everything like that. Just keep up the good work out there. We've still got a lot of work to do. Don't give up until the very end. I think there's always possibilities here. And if anything, I think we've actually caught some people. I think people going to get down. There's huge doubts in this election, and we're in uncharted territory. It's dangerous, but it also could be another renewal of sorts of the country. Steve Bannon calls it the fourth turning of American history. These watershed moments in our country's history. This is probably one of them. And going forward, we're going to see what happens with it over time. So, guys, happy Black Friday. And, well, it's actually now Black Saturday because we are now past midnight. Have an awesome night. Talk to you guys soon. Bye.